You may wonder what a 1990-page bill looks like. Well, this is it. We put it in two stacks. This one is slightly larger than the other one because this is the original size of the bill that was introduced by the Democratic leadership that we dealt with in 3 committees in the House of Representatives. Very similar to the bill that the Senate was dealing with and the one that the President was talking about. But now when you see both these stacks, this is the size. In fact, this is the new bill that we're supposed to vote on this week, H.R. 3962, 1,990 pages long. Weighs about 20 pounds. Now, the idea is, since it was introduced last Friday, that we were supposed to be able to read the entire thing before we vote on it this week. I'll just have to confess to you, I haven't read it page for page. I've got staff working on it. We have other Republican committee staff. We have other staff working on it, most from the inside. We have groups from the outside looking at it. We have summaries of it. My staff has done a good job of going through the salient points on it. And we're trying to understand exactly what's in this and if it is as bad as we believe it is. And I have to tell you, it's worse than I thought. Well, I haven't seen every one of them. There is at least 3,400 uses of the word shall. Now, why should that be important to you? Well, in statutory language, and this is a copy of a statute, in statutory language, the word shall is mandatory, meaning those are mandates by the federal government upon you and other citizens, all of us. In other words, we're going to be commanded by the federal government over 3,400 times as to what we ought to do. Now, I just happen to think that's something we ought to be worried about, particularly when we're talking about health care, which is supposed to be personal between you and your doctor, between me and my doctor, between your family and your family physician. Yet now we have the federal government, actually it's 3,425 times using the word shall, telling you what must be done as we, the federal government, determine it. This represents over $1 trillion in spending. Now, you've heard various estimates. The Democratic leadership has tried to bring this in under $1 trillion because they think that you will not be worried about spending something less than $1 trillion. So it's been scored by some people as 900 and some billion dollars, others at 834. But the most recent review by the Congressional Budget Office is that this is going to cost you and me and every other taxpayer $1.055 trillion. Now, that does not even include the so-called quote-unquote doctor fix, which is to reimburse doctors at a level close to what their costs are. Because the way the Medicare system works now, those charges that will be recognized by the government are far less than what they require. So instead of taking care of that, which is a fix of about $250 to $350 billion in this bill, they took it out of this bill and put it in another bill and pretended it doesn't exist. If you add that to the bill, we're talking about $1.3 trillion. And then there are, by some estimates, probably another couple $100 billion that are found in and around this bill. So you're talking about probably $1.5 trillion. The worst thing that I can say is this. We have a serious problem about health care in this country. We need to try and bring our costs down while maintaining our quality, and that's what I'm dedicated to do. This bill will not do that. Additionally, in my district, in California, around the country, the biggest serious issue today is jobs. The issue of jobs. We're losing jobs. Later this week, we're going to have the new unemployment figures. I fear that they're going to be over 10% for the nation. We know they're 12% for the state of California, and in some areas of my district even higher than that. This bill will destroy jobs. Now, I'm not just saying that. A lot of outside groups are saying that. Some are saying 1.3 million jobs lost as a direct result of this bill. Others are saying that if you use the analysis that was actually developed by the president's top economic advisor in the White House, you could lose up to 5 million jobs. I don't know if it's 1 million or it's 5 million or somewhere in between. How can we be talking about that in the midst of the worst recession perhaps in my lifetime. So I'm working my way through this bill. My staff's working its way through this bill. I have not found a single reason to support it, many reasons to oppose it. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm working with other Republicans to come up with a Republican alternative. Actually, I call it the American alternative that will deal with the kinds of things that you and I would, I think, really be concerned about. So thanks for listening to this. I got to get back to work going through this bill. My staff's going to continue working through this bill. We're going to fight this thing all the way through this week, and we're also going to fight for you to make sure we have a bill that you think would work for you and would ensure that our families in the future have some control over the costs of health care and also have the best quality health care in the world. Thanks.